My name is Rachel Amos, and today I'll be discussing genetically modified foods and if they are safe for human consumption or not. So, controversy is everywhere as people are always in disagreements amongst many topics. One of those topics is genetically modified foods. There's many people that believe that genetically modified foods are not safe for human consumption, and there are many people who believe that they have no harm to humans. Today I'll be discussing the background and history of genetically modified foods and also both perspectives for and against genetically modified foods will be discussed. So what does genetically modified mean? Genetically modified means that genes from one product were taken by scientists and inserted into another product to get a desired trait from the first product into the second one. So according to Healy in 2016, this is done because it often increases nutritional value, gives it more hardiness to harsh weather conditions, it gives it antibiotic resistance, herbicide resistance, and it can also increase the shelf life of the product so it lasts longer before consumers eat it. Next, I will discuss the history of genetically modified foods. Scientists first came across the idea of gene transferring in 1946. Many people think that genetically modified foods is a newer topic since of all the new technology advancements, but it has been around since 1946. The United States had its first FDA-cleared modified product in 1994. This product was the Flavor Saver tomato. The Flavor Saver tomato was made to ripen slower so that once picked off the vine, it lasted longer before it became bad and consumers could no longer eat it. The U.S. was not the only country to increase, but it led in commercialization very quickly. The United States led the world in genetically modified crop production by 2011, according to Bawan Anna Al-Kumar in 2012. All genetically modified foods must follow a regulation process before they can be sent out to consumers. The first agency that deals with the genetically modified foods is the Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA. The FDA's role is to look at the safety of the product and if it's going to be safe to human consumption or not once it is modified. The next product is the United States Department of Agriculture. The Animal and Plant Health Inspection Branch of the USDA works with genetically modified products, making sure they are safe for human consumption before they are consumed and sold into stores. The last one is the Environmental Protection Agency. This focuses on the safety of strictly on pesticides that are used on certain plants and crops, making sure that those pesticides will not harm humans if consumed. This was found by Pham and Mandel in 2019. Next, we will discuss the first perspective, which is people who believe that genetically modified foods are not safe. One reason that leads many people to believe that genetically modified foods are not safe for human consumption is that modified genes have more uses than what they're originally made for. The second reason is that proteins in genetically modified foods may not break down in the human gut because they are not naturally occurring in the body. This leads people to think that the proteins may cause unwanted diseases and antibiotic resistance in the human gut. Which leads me to the next one, is antibiotic resistance. Since some plants become antibiotic resistant through genetically modification, some people believe that once they're consumed, that their gut will no longer be working to antibiotics and they may be sick more often, or their medications may no longer work. And according to Healy in 2016, some other people do not believe that they are safe because consumers may attain new allergies or have an allergic reaction to something that they did not know was in the product because it was crossed with another product and there was still a trace amount of that product. For example, someone could be allergic to soybeans but not know that a soybean was used in a different plant through gene transfer. The next side is people who believe that genetically modified foods are safe for human consumption. The first one that people believe they should be used is because they make the plants and crops more hardy, and the people who are in the agricultural industry believe that without genetically modifications, they would not have the proper crop yield and they would not make the proper money that they believe they should with their plants because they will not be hardy and they will die with drought or excessive rain. The next, according to Healy 2016, people believe that genetically modified foods have an increased nutritional value. This can help people who have a hard time getting the proper diet, so they eat these plants that are enriched with extra vitamins and minerals to help them gain what they need. And according to Pham and Mandel in 2019, people believe that the regulation process that genetically modified foods follow does a good job, and that they believe that they're already safe since they're regulated, so they have no worries when eating genetically modified foods. And lastly, the National Bioengineered Food Disclosure Standard Act was created so that every product that is genetically modified has to have on their label within 2 years, so that all consumers know what they're eating and if it's genetically modified or not, so that they are aware of the risks before they consume and aren't just hidden inside the product. So next I will talk a little bit about my opinion on the topic of whether genetically modified foods are safe or not for human consumption. So I feel that genetically modified foods are unsafe at some contents, as some of the contents in them are not meant to be in the human body, such as some of the chemicals added or additives to make foods last longer are not naturally occurring in the body and aren't meant to be in the human body. So I believe that there could be some contraindications to eating the genetically modified products. But I do see the benefits to genetically modified products, as farmers need to have a crop yield in order to make a living and the money that they need. So I believe without the genetic modifications that their crops would not benefit as much as they would in sometimes the harsh weather conditions that we have. With this being said, I do not try to avoid genetically modified foods in the stores or when I'm eating. I never really check the labels as much as people who would be strictly against them are. So I would say I'm a well balanced in the middle of believing genetically modified foods can have some potential risks and harms to humans, but I do not go the whole route and avoid consuming them. So in conclusion, genetically modified foods were made a controversy for a long time, as people are always going to be in disagreement over the topic. Many people do see the risks and harms of eating genetically modified foods, but then there's a lot of other people who see no risks and they just eat the food that's available to them on the store shelves. There's a clear arguments for both sides to why someone should believe that they are safe and why someone should believe that they are unsafe. So the arguments for both sides pretty much equal out, so there's no right or wrong answer. And it's all the genetically modified foods basically based off of someone's beliefs. If they believe that they should be used, if they believe they're safe, or if they believe they're unsafe. So it all falls back on what someone believes in and why they think what they think is basically telling them if it is safe or not. And these are the references that I use.